It's Friday, June 13th, 2014. I'm Jimmy Principe.
I'm Sydney Foster.
And I'm Trey Comstock. Put in your final orders because this is Tech's Last Call, episode 79. Your last call for Tech News of the Week. Tonight, Jimmy does a Brotherhood mission, Sydney offers commentary, and I declare 2015 the winner of 2014's E3. So, tonight's is a special episode, as we sometimes do, now that we are in conference season. Tonight's episode is dedicated to E3. The Electronic Entertainment Expo took place technically from June 10th to June 12th, but really most of the news happened on June 9th with the press conferences. And so there are 4 big press conferences, or 5 sort of. There's Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, Sony, and then Nintendo's online press conference where they push play and everyone watches it on the internet. After that, the show floor itself opens, and games journalists are stuck looking at never-ending demos of games that may or may not come out, and are certainly not in their final forms. So that's the E3, the Electronic 3, the
3 of E's.
The 3 of E's. The Electronic Entertainment Expo. So there's really no way to run down every story that happened at E3. GiantBomb.com publishes not 12 hours of podcasts alone during E3, not to mention video coverage. And the whole gaming world basically goes crazy with non-stop coverage. So to try to cover all of the stories are impossible, or even to narrow it down. So the best way to do this is to kind of go press conference by press conference, and at least talk about what stood out to us from those press conferences, because generally speaking, that's going to be what was important from the show. Most of the news happens in that day one, and those stories kind of play out a little bit. But that's, I don't know, that seems to be the only real way to handle this in any sort of comprehensible manner. So first up on the hit parade was the Microsoft press conference. Now, as one might expect after the year Microsoft has had, Microsoft made it very clear that they were only going to talk about games. That this
Wait, they're going to abandon that whole in-home entertainment center thing that they did last year?
They obliquely mentioned one media television show thing, with a slide, and that was it. Besides that, it was just game, demo, game, demo, game, demo, for just one solid hour of just game after game after game after game after game. Now, a lot of what you saw at Microsoft was the big third-party stuff. So you saw a demo of Assassin's Creed, Unity Co-op. You saw basically an opening cutscene and a little bit of gameplay from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. You saw a thing. I think that was there. I saw. I saw a thing for Dragon Age Inquisition, which doesn't, and that's actually coming out this year, unlike everything else. You did see a demo of Forza Horizon 2, which is also coming out this year. So, Sydney, you watched the Microsoft press conference as well. Was there anything that stood out to you?
Well, the Assassin's Creed stuff definitely stood out to me, just because, again, that's a franchise that I'm interested in, and I know that's something that Jimmy picked up on. And it was interesting because when we watched it, we watched the Giant Bomb coverage, so you get the Giant Bomb folks talking over top of the press conference, basically, and there seemed to be a lot of reaction from that end of, oh, look, it's an Assassin's Creed game, and it looks like an Assassin's Creed game. And then Trey and I are sitting in the living room going, no, it doesn't. It looks different. Even just down to obviously it's next gen graphics, so it's all pretty, but
and that one's unlike everything else in the universe. That's next gen only,
right? So
current now. I guess now I have to call it current gen.
Current gen.
Xbox One, Xbone and PS4.
Right. But even beyond that, like, they've clearly put effort into making this visually a different game. The characters move in different ways than
those
the
animations.
assassins.
Those animations were crazy. You have a lot of like spin animations that, talking about it sounds really like nitty gritty, but when you see it, it just
we'll
looks
drop some
it's
links into
very
the
noticeable.
show notes that show from YouTube showing kind of moving through the world, and the cinematic is amazing. Oh my god.
But even just, I have been wanting the idea of co-op from Assassin's Creed for a while, and they kind of hinted last year that, we can't do it for this one, but we're thinking about it real hard. So they thought about it real hard, and it turned out it's all right.
Yeah, the way it looks like it's going to work is that they're going to have co-op missions. And so you'll be able to, certain missions that you're walking by, there'll be brotherhood missions. And so it'll tell you if some of your friends are already starting
you'll have
that mission.
So you'll be in Rome, and you'll it's the second Ezio Auditore game because it's Brotherhood. So it's the second one. You're in Rome, and you have to go. The Borgias have taken over Rome. You got to take out the Borgia towers, and that's how you unlock the ability to see the mini map. And then, but really, you just like camp out in that thing till the captain respawns, and then stab him right after he respawns, because eventually he'll do that. And so it's like that, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Except not.
Except nothing like that.
Except for the part where France.
Except for the part where it's Paris and revolutionary, French Revolution and all that stuff.
Yep. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
But my understanding is it really is that, like, in previous Assassin's Creed games with Ezio, where you'd have your little band of, assassins.
Yeah, you make a bird noise and then everyone dies.
Yeah. Not at the bird and people die.
Not at the bird and people die. Everywhere people die. Yep.
And it's supposed to, and you're supposed to have different, skills that you can develop with your assassin. And so, someone else might have a skill you don't. And so you can do things kind of they have... Ubisoft has a kind of commented over co-op gameplay thing, where they talked about, my friend used his lockpick skill to unlock this door. So
I saw in the Microsoft demo there was a door with a locked symbol on it. So I assume lockpicking's the thing.
Yeah, so it almost sounds like they're adding skill trees,
which is interesting. Assassin's Creed has always kind of has been leaning more and more and more into that RPG-ish stuff, right? So it started out that you spec'd out your castle, which was awesome, and then
that's still Trey's favorite part about all Assassin's Creed games.
My favorite part of Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh, I can build out my ship. Yes.
No, I just like Sims Northern Italy.
More power. The ship really was good for me because I could just more power and,
Yeah. I even paid $2 to finish upgrading my... $4 to keep upgrading my
real
ship.
funny.
I did not want to swim for those plans. But they've always leaned heavily, more and more and more into these RPG-ish elements, and so a skill tree makes sense. Especially if you're going to be able to, basically, min-max and pick a certain path down that skill tree that could lead to... let you customize your gameplay. I would love to make a character that was better at stealth, because I'm bad at stealth. So if I could spec out my character to have upgraded stealth skills, I might actually get better at that game.
Well, and they're gonna have an actual stealth mode. So instead of trying to be stealthy on your own, you can enter stealth mode where it's kind of that default take cover that a lot of other games have. Or then you can kind of stealthily go from cover to cover.
So snap to cover, if you will.
Good, because I get really irritated right now because I'm currently still playing through AC4, when I'm walking back and forth along a wall because stupid Edward won't snap to the corner. I'm like, dude, just snap already.
So it's Gears of War with knives. Snap to cover.
No cars.
So... thinking, what else was at Microsoft? There was Sunset Overdrive, which looks like this just it's building on an existing franchise, but it looks like this crazy third-person shooter. So
it looks kind of fun.
Hey, that launches this year.
Yeah, no, that does. Also, not a 2015 game. But it's basically takes like a lot of the mechanics from BioShock Infinite, but make like so like you're like zooming around on like zip lines and stuff.
But in a less nausea-inducing way because it's not first person.
It's third person.
So, but better question: why are you taking the mechanics from BioShock Infinite? Because its mechanics are terrible.
The shooting mechanics are terrible.
Just that movement mechanic where you like snap to a railing and zip around.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff it's stealing from what I think of as it's stealing from BioShock. Obviously,
also BioShock possibly has the most gruesome like melee weapon other than the chainsaw shotgun or whatever it was in
Chainsaw.
Was that Gears of War?
Yeah, it's Gears of War with the chainsaw rifle. It has a name. It has a name, but I can't remember what it is. It has dumb, whatever it is.
Yeah, but Sunset Overdrive is a lot more cartoony, and you're killing mutants. It's not like, let me rip this person's head off. Yay! Yeah, realistic gore. Yay!
Yay, BioShock.
Like one of the things, like the trailer ends with, why? Because it's a video game. Like that kind of stuff. Like it's really like the trailer at least was like really self-aware and trying to be zany and silly. God, I'm trying to like. This is going to be a theme, but
I've got a list in front of me, Trey.
So okay, run down the
list here.
Okay, so we got Forza 5 is going to have the
Nürburgring. Already has just got the Nürburgring,
which I understand you have a nipple in the shape of.
Yeah, that's a fact. Moving on.
Assassin's Creed Unity, Sunset Overdrive, Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade
that's just
Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha.
It's just a silly over-the-top
I was like, is
DLC.
this for real?
That's just over-the-top DLC for Dead Rising.
This is coming
3.
off GiantBomb.com, so their commentary is interlaced with.
No. That's actually what they showed on screen in the press conference. Is all of that? It's Capcom mocking itself, right? So Capcom does all these versions of Street Fighter 4. Or the Street Fighter series. And so they took all the adjectives that they normally stick on a version of Street Fighter and applied it to a DLC for Dead Rising that like gives you special powers and lets you dress up and get the powers of Street Fighter characters and just
that's
dumb
pretty
crap.
Hilarious.
Like it's super referential and really funny. And if you like Dead Rising 3, I would get it.
And Street Fighter.
No, even that. It just looks ridiculous. So there's that. I mean, that looked pretty cool. What else?
Fable Legends.
They showed like a four-player co-op
players.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I thought was cool about Fable Legends that again I thought was interesting, and Jeff Gerstmann doesn't agree with me, but that's okay. Was with the co-op. It's not all like. There's the option for co-op, but then another person can also basically set up the bad guys. So it's almost like you're designing what everybody else is going through. So you're like, I'm going to put some goblins over here or whatever. I'm going to put a trap over here. So it's like you're almost like you're designing the game board that other people are moving through, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's they call it the mode of like play the villain.
Right.
So that looked all right.
That sounds like it'd be fun.
The Fable series has never been something that drew me.
Yeah,
this is the first Fable game completely without the influence of Peter Molyneux. So it'll be interesting to see what that series looks like without its kind of titular guy. But what they showed, I like the idea of play the villain mode, but I didn't see anything that just looked like a generic fantasy action game. That's one of those ones I think I need to see in real life.
Right.
For it to read. It didn't really read in that demo.
Let's see. Bunch of Halo stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's actually news.
That stuff actually is what I would say from reading through Microsoft press conference stuff. That's the thing that looks most interesting to me.
Sure, but I don't care about Halo, so it doesn't really stand out to me.
Well, you don't. But so basically, and this is from GiantBomb.com, it's saying that Halo the Master Chief Collection will be released for Xbox One, and it'll have all of the so far released Halos except for ODST and Reach.
So it's called the Master Chief Collection because they view it as the Master Chief Saga all on one disc, all in one game. So you don't have the two that don't involve Master Chief, ODST and Reach, because Reach is a prequel and ODST is a side story. And what they're doing is it's the already remastered version of Halo 1 that they released a year or two ago. Then a totally remastered version of Halo 2, complete with remastered Halo 2 multiplayer.
Yeah, but they also say exactly as it shipped 10 years ago, which is interesting.
Well, it's running on the same game engine, and what they're doing is they're upgrading the graphics.
Interesting.
And then they're including Halo 3, Halo 4. Also, they're going to add a prologue and an epilogue to the whole thing to start to set up Halo 5.
Yeah, ships with access to the beta for Halo 5 Guardians.
That too.
So that could be really, like, I guess if you have an Xbox One and you want to still be able to play your Halo games.
Or even if you can, they have it set up. It's pretty cool the way they have that set up. So you can do several ways. One thing you can do is you can play all of the Halo games, all the Master Chief games just straight through.
Yeah, it's a playlist.
Right. Or you can go in and, like, play specific missions that you want. Like, you don't have to you can kind of, it looks like you can jump around quite a bit.
You have so much gameplay time. Oh my gosh.
Well, it also gets 4,000 achievement points.
Yeah, worth a total of 4,000 gamer scores.
And
Trey, we know you only care about your gamer score.
I do deeply care about my gamer score. So, I mean, if you're a fan of Halo, this is part of what this is. It's a setup so that they don't have to worry about 2014. That they have something Halo coming out this year. Because obviously they don't have Halo 5 ready. It's not going to be out this year. It's going to be next year. And knowing Halo, it's not going to be early next year.
Yeah, no, it'll be end of next year.
It'll be end of next year. I mean, Halo is, as far as I remember, it's always been a holiday release kind of series.
I think that you're right.
So, yeah, this is kind of tied over, and it is fan service, right? Like, why else would you be able to flip back to the original graphics so everyone can feel super nostalgic? But as fan service goes, there's at least
Nintendo has built an entire
Are you going to be able to plug in a GameCube? Oh wait, wrong.
Wrong game. No, but I think as fan service goes, it's a pretty meaningful amount of fan service, right?
Yeah, it seems really cool. I mean, and I'm a fan of the series, but I'm not a hardcore fan of the series.
Sure.
So, but if I had an Xbox One, I'd pay money for this.
Yeah, and I may end up paying money for this. It is interesting for the Halo series. I want to see what's in the prologue and the epilogue.
So you're going to pay money for this so that I can play and you can watch?
Yep. Well, I'll look up the final cutscenes on YouTube. So I mean that was meaningful news out of Microsoft at their press conference. Mm-hmm. That was first party. The demo of Forza Horizon 2 looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm biased. I liked the original Forza Horizon, and so the idea and I liked Forza 5's driving and Drivatar, even if I don't like their DLC stuff.
We all cringed a little bit when they said the word Drivatar.
Yeah. No, now no. It wasn't just Drivatar. It was open world Drivatars. Open world Drivatars. So it's Drivatars that function. So your Drivatar is the computer learn.
It's still an avatar.
No, it's not.
It's a Drivatar.
What a Drivatar is Azure learning your driving behavior. And so then...
Isn't my insurance company trying to do that with those little things you plug in your car?
Same idea, except it's being done by Azure. And
I think that's more terrifying.
So Azure stores your Drivatar. And so when you show up in somebody else's game, Azure has learned your driving behavior. And so your avatar, your car in someone else's game mimics your driving style.
So super aggressive. Awesome.
Right.
So basically it's like you're playing multiplayer all the time,
cars.
even when you're playing by yourself.
Right. So the idea behind it's interesting. It's hard to know how well it worked. I mean, I left Drivatars on. My Drivatar's like 60% synced or something. So I'm looking forward to really being able to keep syncing my Drivatar, so that people can really benefit from my hyper aggressive driving style.
You mean it's like your normal driving style, except the car doesn't matter.
You block certain if you have a Drivatar that really just irritates you, can you say, please don't put this person's Drivatar in my game anymore?
I don't know, but I would probably get blocked. And you get Forza points, Forza fake monies for the performance of your Drivatar. So I get a Drivatar dividend every time my Drivatar wins a race in somebody else's game.
That's pretty
So awesome. It's really just incentive to ram more people. I would love. And I don't know if this. I never found this feature. It might be available. If I could go in and see what Forza thinks of my Drivatar, because
And now I'm getting demon flashbacks.
yeah.
2.5
the short description
out of a
of Trey's
base of
Drivatar.
800.
Yeah, my Drivatar is probably not very well regarded. What else was at Microsoft? I think we've hit a lot of the
Witcher.
high points. The Witcher 3, which
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, bunch of indie junk.
yeah, I'm supposed to get excited about indie
Look,
games.
indie junk is interesting, but it's not E3 interesting.
It's it's a weird place for it. That's kind of PAX. PAX is kind of the indie
Guess
show.
what's coming to? Oh no, this is important though. You know, it is coming to Xbox One.
What?
3s.
Yeah,
This is important.
What I didn't see and what I want is I want to be able to swipe up and swipe across with my Kinect. That's what I want. I want to be laying on my couch.
That
and
would
go,
be pretty awesome.
Oh, by the way, I've broken 22,000 on 3s. I am a god among 3s players. I don't know if you.
I hate
I don't
you
know if
so
you knew
much.
this. I have now melded the 784
Jeez.
twice.
It goes that high?
Apparently it does. I have
Not when
now
I play.
Look, remember I had this ongoing conversation. Can you get beyond the 300 one? You can. There's a 700.
It comes in pints. I'm
It comes
getting
in
one.
bites. My high 3 score is now 22,000. I did that while I was supposed to be voting for something, but I did have a miracle game of 3s where I melded 22,000.
Okay. Well, that's not fair. You're trapped in a convention hall where you didn't necessarily want to be. But anyway,
That's how I beat
neither here nor there.
Angry Birds at graduation.
To be fair, that's when I beat Angry Birds too. So
I was like, this sucks.
let's see. Rise of Tomb Raider
Yeah.
CGI trailer.
It's continuing on with that same style of Lara Croft.
Which I'm good with. Probably released. What do you think? End of next year?
2015.
Beginning of 2016?
Nah, I think they'll come out in 2015.
2015.
They already built the architecture to do a next gen or current gen Tomb Raider. They've released it on current gen
true.
consoles. So I don't think the
definitive edition.
Yeah, definitive edition. I played some of that. To me, I didn't really like it. I didn't like the camera controls. Actually, I hated the camera controls so much I gave up on playing the game.
Otherwise, it was a good game. I mean, I played it on PC, so
The Xbox One camera controls, I never felt like I was actually able to see what was going on. I never really felt in control. So hopefully they'll fix that. But I mean, it was very well reviewed. I didn't connect with it. And it is more of Laura going, ah! 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 I mean, that whole game is just, ah! She hits a rock, ah! Like, yeah, you still have a lot of that in the trailer. So if that's what you're in for, that's what makes you happy. You get a lot of, ah!
no comment.
Look, that's...
No armor.
Yeah,
Not
she is,
Jimmy's
Lightly
type.
armored.
she's not even lightly armored, I'm sorry.
See, no, not interested.
Yeah. So,
Running out the rest of it, Tom Clancy's A Division,
Still
Platinum
not-
Games announced an Xbox One exclusive,
Okay.
Scalebound.
Yeah, they barely showed anything of it. The Division's interesting only because it's delayed again. It's
They
still
keep
not,
delaying that game.
still not coming out. So that's going to be sometime in 2015?
It's gonna be a big year.
Wait, let's see what the
Question
yeah,
mark?
coming 2015. We don't have a release
Not like
date.
a date in 2015?
No, just like it's coming.
It's coming?
Eventually.
Coming.
It looks really
Like the
cool,
winter.
but it's a co-op multiplayer third-person shooter with crazy graphics and animation. I mean, it looks really
It
good.
looks awesome.
Yeah.
but
Okay. What round this thing out? I can't remember. There
That
wasn't
was
mu-
it. Crackdown.
Oh, and also Fantasia Music Evolved and the harmonics dancing game,
Dance Central.
Dance Central something. It's going to be basically
Puppies and rainbows.
free to play. Not free to play, but a DLC driven dancing game that will be download only, which is interesting. But I don't really care. Those
Maybe called Dance Central 24, or is that the other one? That's
No.
that's just Dance is the one with
Just
the year on
Dance
it.
is the one with the year on it. This
don't
has a tagline. But those are the only two Kinect things shown. Like that was the only time Kinect even came up. The word Kinect was never mentioned.
Well, I mean, they took the thing out.
Well, I mean, they did, but it's not like they killed the product. Hey, Jimmy, you killed your video.
No, it should be back.
It's not. There it is. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so moving on.
Super crunchy.
Moving on to Electronic Arts.
I've got nothing to say about EA. They announced a bunch of sports games.
They showed more of Sims 4, which I'm excited about. There was
Star Wars Battlefront?
Well, they didn't. All they showed was a CG trailer, and like developers are really getting into the art of Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefront. It's being developed by the people who do the normal Battlefield games, DICE.
I mean, Q4 2015.
Yeah, I mean, and probably delayed to Q1 of 2016.
Probably.
So we'll play it in a May 2 years from now. I mean, it looks like they're saying all the right things, but we have nothing from that game except it's going to look beautiful. But it's a DICE game, so of course it's going to look beautiful. Like that's not an issue. Is this actually going to be? Is this actually going to be the thing that we want to see from Star Wars do? Right? That crazy just Battlefield, but with Star Wars. With, like, you can jump into space, or you can fight on the ground. And if that's what we get from them from Battlefront, I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
They teased new Mass Effect. Not coming till 20.
Super teased. Like, not even like, oh yeah, this is a thing and it's coming out. Like, just kind of like, we're looking at doing this, so have faith. Because Mass Effect. Because you all love Mass Effect, remember?
But it looks like it's still going to star Shepard, which, what does that even mean? Like, how?
But I thought they were moving it to, like, another place.
Right, but still, how do you have Shepard? Like, not to spoil the end of Mass Effect 3, but how do you walk out of Mass Effect 3 and still have Shepard? Anybody?
Zombies.
Great.
Look,
okay.
Zombies.
Beats the hell out of me.
Parallel lighthouses. There you go. BioShock Infinite lighthouses.
So are you telling me this is now Mass Effect Infinite?
Yes.
Okay.
Shock.
Sold.
Mass Shock Effect Infinite.
Yes, Mass Shock Effect Infinite.
Yep.
That's it. Exactly.
Where the two worlds collide.
So there's that. I mean, they showed more Dragon Age Inquisition. It looks like it's more Dragon Age. That's not a franchise I'm really interested in.
Let's see.
But people seem that is at least 20 coming out this year. A bunch of EA Sports stuff.
Sports.
Football is going to continue to be football.
Yes, as Giant Bomb so eloquently states, the new Madden features the game of football. And
there was one interesting thing. The golf game is no longer called Tiger Woods.
That is interesting, actually.
And now concludes, like, crazy stuff. So, it's now called, like PGA Tour or something. And so they show, like, oh, it's going to be an amazing golf game. And then it's also going to have, like, ridiculous over-the-top levels where a battleship is crashing into the course while you're driving. What? Yeah, so it's going to be, like, a mix of, like, a straight game like the Tiger Woods series has been, combined with, like, something, like, some, like, cartoon golf game.
So is Bruce Lee in that one, too?
No, Bruce Lee is only in UFC.
Darn. How about Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris?
Golfing.
Let's see.
On a battleship.
Other than lots of sports games.
Lots of sports games that
Dawngate?
They didn't...
It's a flexible meta game.
Oh, that's the MOBA.
Yeah, it's a MOBA. Let's see. Mirror's Edge 2.
Yeah, but they still didn't... they showed it's a game and it looks like Mirror's Edge, but they didn't show, like, I don't know, real gameplay. In a previous preview for that, they showed that there might be shooting. In this one, she didn't shoot. So, we don't know. And that's kind of blank. That was another one. It was like Mass Effect and like the new BioWare property that didn't even have a name. They just didn't give a whole lot of details. So coming 2015, and we don't know what it's going to look like.
Let's see, Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So,
Interesting.
So Battlefield Hardline was supposed to be EA's big, game for E3. That was going to be the big reveal that everyone was going, oh, shoot! Right?
Then everyone figured it out.
No, it leaked. Hacked assets and everything. It leaked last week.
Oh, wow.
The whole press was NDA'd. The judges who went to pre-E3 weren't allowed to talk about it. This thing was locked down. And then it leaked. And they had to release a trailer. So this was supposed to be a big deal. And so they announced it. So here's what they were going to be doing. They were going to announce the game and say, and the beta is available today. And then a firework happened. So everyone knew about the game. And they showed it. And they still do. And the beta starts today. Firework. It's basically Battlefield Cops versus Robbers.
Battlefield GTA, I think is how I saw it described.
Yeah, sure. So, one of them is, heist. So, the robbers are trying to do a heist, and the cops are trying to stop them. And it has vehicles and everything like a good Battlefield game should, except this time it's, Suburbans and armored cars and helicopters, and
Excellent.
Camaros. It looks pretty cool. People are kind of down on it. And the single player is going to be kind of like a cop drama with episodes. Which is kind of interesting. I like the look of it. I liked GTA 5. So this is
You'd like to play some more GTA 5, is what you're telling me.
Well, but this looks like what GTA multiplayer could have been, with actual huge structured missions. So imagine this, a 32-person versus 32-person heist simulator.
Okay,
That would be really
pretty
right?
epic.
So if I say that sentence, that sounds cool. And that's what they showed at the press conference, was a 32-person on 32-person heist simulator. That's awesome.
Insane is what it is, I think.
So it's kind of Battlefield with smaller maps, which in some ways is cool because it means the action's really concentrated. I have high hopes for that game. It's not being made by DICE. It's being made by Visceral. That's the people who did... what's that? Oh, crap. What's that game called? It's in space... involves it's a mining guy in space. Oh God, what?
Don't just keep saying space. That's not going to help.
It's Dead Space. So the word space is very important. It's the team that does Dead Space. It's also the team working on the third-person Star Wars game that still isn't actually announced. Anything else of import from E3? From EA at E3?
No.
There was a MOBA. Moving on. So Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. So we've already covered some of this. So Ubisoft started with just right into it. They started with the opening cinematic, it seemed, from Far Cry 4, which looked pretty awesome. And they introduced a new bad guy. Still kind of has that Far Cry kind of look to it.
Yeah,
It'll be a really good game.
Looks a lot like Far Cry. And, that Far Cry series, Far Cry 3 was very well reviewed, very well received. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was even better received. That team knows what they're doing.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a good game. But that's all we got from it. They didn't talk about it.
That's this year or next year?
I think it's probably going to be next year. We didn't...
When in doubt,
they didn't talk about it. No, actually, it says November 18th.
Wow.
It's slated. So it's this year.
So there's actually games coming out in 2014.
Yeah, and that's releasing on current gen and next gen.
Okay.
Then there was a significant amount of time dedicated to Just Dance 2015, also known as I Don't Care 2015.
Better known as I Can't Believe It's Still Going On.
Apparently they've sold 100 million copies.
I like Just Dance, but I don't necessarily need... I mean, you know what it's going to be. It's not like there are going to be grand revolutions in the world of Just Dance.
So they added something with a phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you say that. What the phone thing is... So normally Just Dance, when you're not on a Kinect, is you use the motion controllers in your hands as what you dance with. Now, since this is all cloud-based and everything's connecting up to a central cloud server, you hold your phone in your hand and use that as your dancing accelerometer. And so, what they say is unlimited dancers. Which is, I know, what I really wanted.
And there was that video thing, too, that just looked weird.
Yeah, so like, there's all this kind of community stuff that, again, it's a dancing game. Like, what
if
do you
I'm
want?
going to play a dancing game, I'm
games,
really
I guess,
only
not a problem.
interested in embarrassing myself in front of the people that I'm sharing the room
Yeah,
with
I
that
don't
are
need to share
also
that on
dancing.
the internet. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No.
I mean, call me lame, but I really don't need to share that on the internet.
I call you lame all the time,
Sounds
but
like
not
another
because of that.
opportunity for bad teenage internet decisions.
Yep. No, that's exactly what that
All
is.
teenage internet decisions
These
are bad teenage internet decisions. Let's be clear.
Okay, so what else was at Ubi?
Then they went through The Division, which we already talked about. A more kind of longer, cinematic kind of...
That game looks beautiful.
It looks really pretty. Get a better view of what the world is going to look like. Then they had The Crew, what they showed off.
Really? That's still a game? When is it coming out? Does it have a release date? November. That is actually happening?
November
one
11th.
thing. Okay. Speaking of The Crew, though not quite. So, in Microsoft's announcement of Forza Horizon 2, they said this sentence, and you can start clubs where you can drive with your friends.
Did Drive Club come out?
No, it wasn't even shown.
Okay, so interesting thing about this is not part of this, but an interesting thing about Drive Club, apparently, as a PSN subscriber, whatever,
get it
PlayStation
free.
Plus subscriber,
You get a
I
free
actually
version.
will still get my Drive Club
Yeah, that's still going on.
thing when it comes out. So I'm excited about that.
But in Forza Horizon 2, you can start a club where you can drive with your friends.
Excellent.
Up to 1,000 people in your club where you can drive with your friends. And I really think that was written just to put the words club and drive as close
next to each other.
together
Yeah,
as
maybe.
possible. I was like, yeah, you take that. You do that, Microsoft. After all the Mickeys Sony took out of them last year, they had this like a little
They
jab.
had to get the little, yeah, what?
Yeah. And this game's going to come out like basically the same time that Drive Club is. Which is great.
Yeah, freaking Drive Club.
So, The Division, not coming out this year.
Oh, okay. So the interesting thing about The Crew is they sped up
something
the
interesting?
footage like 1,000,000 times. So it just looked awesome.
So it's running at 60 instead of 30?
Huh?
So is it running at 60 frames a second instead of 30 frames a second?
No. It was significantly faster than that.
Really? And okay.
It just looked like they
Interesting.
more than twice.
So what is that game? What
Lots of
is The
driving,
Crew?
It's my understanding.
Lots of driving?
It's a driving game. Look, okay, if you want more
Yes,
from me than
it's
that,
an open world driving game. Is it a track-based driving game? Is it predominantly
it's an open world driving game.
Okay.
The whole idea is that they've kind of like mapped the whole U.S., except they totally haven't. But they've mapped a big chunk of it. So you like drive over. They did like from like New York to L.A. driving was what I think where they were specifically driving. And so you go over to the Rockies at one point with snow and stuff. It's kind of cool.
So how fast did they make it? They drive across the whole U.S. in one demo?
Yes, in one demo.
Okay, great. Okay, what else do we have?
We had the whole Assassin's Creed Unity.
Anything in particular that wasn't in the mic? Was it just more, or
It was more. I mean, they had the trailer, which was awesome.
yeah?
And they had where I was just like, oh, this is so pretty.
It's beautiful.
And then they had some gameplay. Yeah, Eagle Vision can now see through walls.
Oh, good. It's needed to for a while.
And they don't call it Eagle Vision anymore. It's called Eagle Presence or something.
Eagle present.
God.
They've been stuck with that mechanic since the original Assassin's Creed, and so.
Well, what's interesting is I get the sense that this game's a little more indoor focused.
Yeah, so they added a bunch of indoor stuff.
Right. So like in the demo we saw at Microsoft, they just like crept and then went through a door, and there was a lot of like indoor outdoor transitioning in and out. Whereas in other Assassin's Creed games, the indoor has kind of been instanced, where it's like you go into a door and then loading screen and then the building loads.
Or you go into a door and then, or like I remember was this 3 where they added this where you could like run through a building really quick?
That was 3. But that's basically just a quick time event.
Where it looked kind of cool, but you really weren't controlling it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they add more Unity.
Mm-hmm. More.
Unity's gonna be awesome. I mean, we talked about a lot of it already.
Unity's gonna be. I'm pretty excited about that, and that's coming out this year too.
Yeah, it is actually. That is actually coming out this year. Yes.
I mean, they haven't missed yet. At one point, so I heard a rumor that at one point Watch Dogs had 1,500 people working on it.
1,500 people.
1,500 people.
That's a lot of people.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
I mean, it might have needed it.
Dude, I need a few more people.
We're still kind of late.
I like that game. I'm enjoying my time with it.
It's a fun game.
I'm not sure it's going to change the world, but I liked that game.
No, it's an 80, which is what it is on Metacritic.
Yeah, it's about right. It's solid B.
Really, it is a fun game to play, but it's not going to like break any new ground.
My motto for life is 3.0 or bust, so I can't really get that mad at people who stick a solid 3.0. 3.0 or bust, baby. Okay, what else was it going to be?
Quite honestly, after that is when I stopped watching the Ubi press conference. So this is now back to the list.
Yeah.
We had Shape Up, which is an Xbox One exclusive.
Still don't care.
But
Valiant
Connect,
Hearts:
honey.
The Great War.
That sounds like
it's a 2D game set during World War One.
A what game?
A 2D
2D game. I'm out. Next.
No sense of any gameplay is what it says here. So I didn't really miss much. We don't even have It says it's coming June 25th of 2014.
Jeez. Okay.
So apparently we're gonna have something on that.
Yep.
And a new Rainbow Six game.
Oh, okay. That's at least news. Any sense of what it was?
Rainbow Six Siege is what I think it's called.
Okay. Fantastic. I mean, that's
but it's off. It's not coming out.
Sure, if it just got announced. So moving on to Sony. Sony was another one of those it's a gigantic. It's like 2 hours long. It was
the Ubi one was an hour and 45 minutes,
and they swore in it, which is great.
Yeah, there was a lot of freaking swearing.
A lot of swearing. So the Sony one, there's
a weed kind of
Yep. So there was the Sony. There was 3 or 4 things that are really important to point out.
Oh, ask me what I care about on the Sony.
What do you care about in the Sony?
Vita TV.
Yeah, that was one of the things. So, but it's not called Vita TV anymore. It's
called PlayStation TV.
PlayStation TV. What Vita TV is Sony's streaming box in Japan that also has a slot to play Vita games.
It has a Vita slot.
Has a card slot to play Vita games. And you can buy a package where it comes with a PS3 controller. Launching in America, the name has changed to PlayStation TV. Still has the Vita card slot.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but there's now a new functionality coming that didn't exist when it launched in Japan. PlayStation Now. So this is kind of like the box for PlayStation Now, their game streaming service. So you'll be able to stream PS Now games to your Vita TV, and this box is $100. So priced competitively with an Apple TV or a Roku or any of those things.
Yeah, all the top end Fire TV.
Right, all of them. They're playing that $100 price point. And for $100, you can play a huge amount of the PlayStation backlog, most of the Vita catalog, most of the current Vita catalog, and then also looks like it'll also be able to do Sony's in-home streaming. So you can play a PS4 game over your network on a different TV on your PlayStation TV. Unless you are really locked, and this will have all the streaming apps you want. So unless you are locked into the Apple ecosystem, this is the one to buy. And for $140, you can also get a real controller, not that stupid Amazon Fire TV controller, but an actual PlayStation 3 DualShock 3 controller.
Like a good controller.
Like a
that
good
has been
controller.
well tested.
So for $140, you get a PlayStation TV and a decent controller with a huge game lot, huge, like, triple-A game catalog. You're talking The Last of Us streamed onto your PS TV. Uncharted streamed to your PS TV. Like, this is the streaming box to rule them all.
And the interesting thing about it is that it is priced the exact same as that stupid Firebox with a... And if you're like me and you have... I mean, I don't actually have any PS3 controllers anymore, but you have
like
PS3
so me,
controllers.
and I have a PS3 controller.
They're also not that expensive. You can buy the thing and then go buy a
used
$30.
controller. But it does, like, look, it doesn't matter. That's an actual controller. It's not that BS thing that Amazon made. Like, this is almost the perfect streaming
overstock
device.
Ouya controllers. Is that the one you're talking about?
I mean, this thing is like same price as the Ouya.
This doesn't even be a little excited.
Look, I mean, the tech press isn't necessarily that. The gaming press isn't necessarily that excited about it because they all have PS3s, and so they don't care.
They're all like, whatever.
But we'd spend a lot of time talking about the streaming space, and if you're talking about the streaming space, this is the device.
Oh, I mean, let's be clear. I'm gonna get one and I'm gonna put it in my media center next to my PS4.
Sure,
because I just need another device.
Oh, I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy one of these. This is damn near perfect. I wish it would interface to the Apple ecosystem, but that ain't gonna happen. So short of that, I mean, this has everything you could want.
I mean, honestly, what I'll probably do is I'll probably buy one of these and put it on a TV in my bedroom.
Yeah, but for $100,
exactly, for $100,
you have
it's totally worth it.
You have something that can play Persona 4 Golden, or Uncharted, or The Last of Us, or Beyond Two Souls, or BioShock Infinite, or whatever you want from Sony's back catalog of third-party and first-party AAA games. That's awesome. And if you have a PS4, you can, play your PS4 in the spare room while someone else is watching TV in the living room.
I mean, this is the thing that I think I'm the most excited about from E3.
Sure.
Followed very closely by Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah. So looking at the few other kind of key points from the Sony press conference, there will now be a white PS4.
Hey, that's important.
That's important. There will now be
will
a white.
Will it ship on time, unlike the iPhone 5?
Yeah, probably. It's a bundle with some game.
Destiny.
Yeah, it is Destiny. You're right. They showed some Destiny. Destiny continues to look good.
Hey, it's gonna PS4 is getting the Destiny beta first.
Yep, it is
on July 17th.
Yep, it is. And then there is Bloodborne. Bloodborne is the big game to come out of the Sony press conference. What Bloodborne is? So there's the team that made the original Demon Souls, and then made the original Dark Souls. Did not make Dark Souls 2. That was a different team. They made Bloodborne, coming in 2015, funded by Sony. So this is the actual follow-up to Dark Souls 1, by the people who designed Dark Souls and Demon Souls. You can think of it as like Demon Souls 2 or whatever. But it's called Bloodborne. It was rumored as Project Beast, because we knew it wasn't going to be called Project Beast.
Darn.
So it's called Bloodborne, and that's what I don't have.
Bloodborne is a much better name.
I don't care about that genre of games as well. We know, but that is kind of
very interesting.
That is just kind of one of the key stories coming out of the Sony press conference was they showed Bloodborne. So what else was at Sony that looks important? Jog my memory. It was
Little Big Planet 3.
Oh yeah, that was the other unannounced game. I can't remember if that's this year or next year. Is that this year? It looked like
Little Big Planet 3?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Looked like it was this year. They had quite a bit.
November of this year.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's more Little Big Planet. What's interesting about that is you'll be able to... So, one of the big things in Little Big Planet... Big things in hand. One of the major important aspects of Little Big Planet is the user-created levels. User-created levels from Little Big Planet 1 and Little Big Planet 2 will automatically be available in Little Big Planet 3. So you have already had this huge library
really cool,
of user created levels. So that's pretty cool. It looks like more Little Big Planet. Again, it's a platformer, so you can't. I'm not excited, but people seemed excited. It looked good. It's not. So Little Big Planet's usually made by a studio called Media Molecule. It's not being designed by them. It's being designed by a different studio. So take that for what it is. What else?
We actually got gameplay of Far Cry 4 at the PlayStation
announcement. It looked awesome. So it was like you're driving a Jeep, and then you fly off a mountain, and then you're diving down in a squirrel suit, and then you provoke an elephant into a rampage to take over a base.
This is all in one demo?
Yeah, it was all one demo. It was all like one continuous thing.
That's ridiculous.
It was pretty crazy. It was absolutely like bananas. So that game looks cool. In short, that game looks cool.
Let's see. PlayStation 4 gamers will be able to invite other players to join their game online, even if their friends don't own the game.
Yawn. Yeah, okay. So, like you've been able to do
There's got to be a catch, but...
on 3DS.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
He's pointing or something?
Yep.
Patting me on the head.
Yep.
You can't see my camera, I forget.
Nope, I can't.
Just stuck my elbow in her shot, and so I thought it was funny.
Awesome.
What else? What else happened at Sony? Oh,
Dead Island 2.
Yeah, there was just a teaser. That wasn't anything.
Oh my gosh! Apparently, a lot of things happened. I scrolled down. Bunch of indie stuff.
There was one. What's that game called? No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky.
Yeah, there was that.
No Man's Sky.
I forgot about that.
So what No Man's Sky is? So this is difficult to explain. So
coming 2015.
We'll sit back and relax.
That's easy.
So what No Man's Sky is the biggest buzz in the indie space right now. It is a procedurally generated open universe game.
So what does that mean, procedurally generated?
So that means it's the worlds are built by an algorithm, not by people. So an algorithm designs planets.
It's the Oasis.
No, the Oasis is handcrafted worlds. Right? Each world has
players.
Crafted by players or crafted by corporations. This is the Oasis built by a robot. Basically. I mean, it is structured like the Oasis from Ready Player One. Where there
builds itself.
Where there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of planets that you can fly to. You spend currency to upgrade your ship and your equipment. You can fight space stations, you can hunt monsters, you can
really
go explore.
Big.
Yeah, it's huge. They have a whole computer that is populating this universe and then produce these little GIFs of each of the planets so that they can go and see a GIF of the planet and understand like what's happening on what the algorithm has assigned on that planet. And what happens in your game affects other people's games, but it's not multiplayer. It's not an MMO. It's not like EVE, which is also like the Oasis, but not procedurally generated. But if you gain information about the world, that information is spread to everyone else playing it. This is also having described the scale of this, how many people do you think are working on this game?
5.
Less than 10, yeah. But that's amazing.
The computer is doing the work.
Right, but that's amazing.
So they just had to put the information into the computer for the computer to generate
all you have to do is. That's remarkable.
No, that's true.
And this is not like 2D art style. This is not like...
It's 3D.
This is like fully
beautiful.
polygonal,
it's
beautiful,
really
next-gen 3D.
I'm finding a video.
This thing is crazy. It is like has an art style to it, but this is not pixel art. Oh no. This is full-on, like, fly your spacecraft in a beautiful 3D environment. So it got a whole lot of footage at the Sony press conference, or presser, as they like to say in the industry. Oh, I hate that term. Actually, they technically call them media briefings or pressers. But No Man's Sky it was teased a while back and blew up the internet then. And then they continue to show it, and it continues to look awesome. Almost
really cool.
Yeah, it looks almost impossible if you think about it. Like all of these hundreds upon hundreds of procedurally generated planets, no one thing unique, none of them handcrafted by humans. It's pretty nuts. So what else was it? So besides No Man's Sky, what else?
Sorry, I'm totally distracted.
Uncharted 4.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So that's the other big thing. They pulled a Apple one more thing. They got to the end of this. Oh, and we have one more thing.
4, yeah.
One more thing, and they showed a trailer for Uncharted 4. Like a thief's. What's the tagline? Like a thief's
end.
A thief's end. So they might actually be bringing it to an end. That's 2015. Which I think has something to do with all the major shakeups. A lot of the leadership of that studio, Naughty Dog, has left. Amy Hennig, one of the big ones, left to go join Visceral to work on a Star Wars project. So that studio is somewhat in flux. That's the same for those of y'all who don't just talk about this all the time. That's the studio that made The Last of Us. That's also the studio who made Crash Bandicoot back in the day.
Hey, we call that a good game.
Yeah, I didn't have a PlayStation back then, so I've never played it. But
I loved Crash Bandicoot.
People really liked it. So that's Sony. So Nintendo. So finally, we'll close out with Nintendo. There are 3 things you need to know about Nintendo.
They didn't have a press conference.
They didn't
one
technically
video.
One. This was just an internet video that they posted. But that's not the thing. One, new Zelda 2015, open world. Open world Zelda. True open world Zelda 2015.
I will be playing that game for the rest of my life.
Yep. And like
That's
not
true, actually.
Again, not relying on art style, actually 3D polygonal, pushing the Wii U to its limits, blah blah blah. Looks beautiful.
It'll look like a really good Xbox 360 game.
Yeah, which by the way, pretty darn good. The Last of Us came out on the PS3. Okay, think about that. So, I mean, there's a lot in that hardware. Not on the same level as the PS4 or the Xbox One, but if you look at Mario Kart 8, you can get some beauty out of that system.
We've had 8 Mario Karts?
Yeah, apparently. Not counting the arcade versions. So there's that. New Zelda coming 2015. 2, Mario Maker.
It's me, Mario.
So what Mario Maker is you can design... gives you a tool set to design your own Mario levels and then share them on the internet.
Wait. Nintendo has discovered the internet?
Yes, recently.
They're not very good at it.
Well, they finally stopped watching pornography long enough to realize you can use it for something else, which is what we all did
Can
at
they
first.
please fix the Nintendo shop on the Wii U?
Nope, probably not going to happen.
Please?
That thing's awful.
That's terrible.
It took
Buying some Pikmin DLC the other day.
Took like 10 steps. So Mario Maker, for a lot of people are talking about it as their game of the show. It was somewhat unexpected. It leaked like right before the press conference, and it looks pretty cool. You can design your own Mario levels, and then you can play. What they showed, anyways, is you can play it either in the style of original Mario, like old school 8-bit, that one, or in the style of Super Mario 3D World.
Oh, interesting.
So you can swap palettes back and forth, which looked pretty cool. It looks really cool. We have no sense of like how big the levels can be, or how
what
well
the limitations of this thing are,
or how well the sharing will work because it's still Nintendo and the internet and all of that.
The pornography will be clogging the tubes. You can be sure of that.
Right. And so the other thing that they gave some details on is Super Smash Brothers. That's coming in the winter for Wii U and in the fall for 3DS. For 3DS.
3DS.
One of the things they showed, and what is the? Oh God, I can't remember what they call it now. The Skylanders thing that has a stupid name.
Amiibo.
Amiibo.
Oh, that's right.
Amiibo with M-I-I in the middle. And so that's their name for their Toys to Life, which is the official name of that category. God bless us all.
Wait. That category has a name?
Toys to Life.
Not just Skylanders type things?
Toys to Life.
Well,
Toys to Life.
Toys to Life. Skylanders isn't the first thing to do that.
This is a very troubling implication. That means that the internet is in fact life.
Toys to Life. No, it's not the internet, but I actually look. Were I an 8-year-old, and I'm not that far removed from being an 8-year-old.
Emotionally true.
I would have loved those things. I'm not entirely sure. I wouldn't really love those things right now. Okay? So I actually like the idea of the Toys to Life category. People think of it as exploitative. In a way it is, but you introduce action figures and people are going to want to buy all the action figures. And this way, those action figures are also now in a video game. But they're still action figures and you can still play with them like action figures. 8-year-old me would have been all over this. 28-year-old me is pretty close to being all over this.
I've almost bought it for you on several gift-giving occasions.
Right. Like, I'm into the Toys for Life category. I prefer Disney Infinity to Skylanders, but anyways. So the way Amiibo... I feel stupid saying it. The way Amiibo works is you'll be able to take in Super Smash Bros. In particular, which is the first game that's going to be compatible with it, you'll be able to take your Amiibo figure, touch it to the NFC port on the NFC dock on your Wii U gamepad, and then load in a special version of that character that is your character that you level up and unlock specific abilities and customize with a custom moveset. And so you don't just have a Mario, you have your Mario. You don't just have a Zelda, you have your customized and upgraded Zelda or Link or whoever.
A lot of my students are going to go crazy for this.
I'm really excited about this. And then those same figures will be compatible with other games down the road as well.
So it'll save that information.
Right. So probably what you'll have to do is you'll have to touch it to the NFC thing to load in your character and then touch it again to save that progress.
No, what it should do...
It's NFC. So the information is... This is Nintendo. And this is the same way Skylanders works. It's not cloud synced. Because this is going to be based on... You don't know if they're going to... Because it's not online required, remember? So it's going to it gets stored in the figure. In the NFC code of the figure. That's how all of these work.
Interesting.
So I'll have to touch it to log in, like a NFC key lock or whatever. Touch it to log in and then touch it to log out.
So theoretically, you can take it over to your friend's house and...
Right. And even if your friend doesn't have the internet, you can still use it. And have
that's really cool. Okay, right. That makes sense to me.
It's awesome. Also exploitive, but awesome.
More cleverly exploitive?
Right. And so, to me, there was other games. There's a new Kirby game. There's a new Yoshi game. There's... I'm sure they'll be fine when they come out. It's Nintendo. That's what they do. But the new Zelda was kind of the headline game. Mario Maker looks actually kind of fascinating. And then further look into Amiibo. And Smash Brothers is going to be huge, but we knew that.
But it's Smash Brothers.
Interesting thing about Smash Brothers, and I don't know if this was an E3 announcement or a pre-E3 announcement, they are going to be selling a special adapter to let you use a GameCube controller in the new Super Smash Brothers. Which is, by the way, called Super Smash Brothers for 3DS and Super Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Very clever.
Very clever.
Steve Ballmer came up with that, didn't he?
What do we call this one? Well, what's it for? The Wii U? Problem solved. Also,
check.
There will soon be an Amiibo adapter for 3DS, which does not have built-in NFC. So there'll be a little dock, like in Skylanders or in Disney Infinity.
Fantastic.
I don't know why neither of you are excited about this. I am stoked.
I'm not excited about this because all I see is a money pit.
All you see is me having to buy all those figures?
Yeah.
However, I've now got gifts set for life for Trey.
Yeah. Between Disney Infinity, Skylanders Trap Force, and Amiibo? Yep. Toys to life, baby. Toys to life!
Do we want to talk about the one non-E3 news story and then get out of here?
So Amazon Prime streaming music?
So yeah, this week Amazon announced that as part of their continuing method of giving you more with your Prime membership,
since they're going to start charging
you really don't want,
and since they're going to start charging you more for it, they have a lot of server space.
To you is a new streaming music service. They say it has millions of things, and I'm sure that it'll be great and helps you. I actually had a coworker of mine tell me that it helps him justify spending $100,
which is exactly what they want.
All the cool kids have a streaming music service.
Well, I think it's particularly devilish of Amazon to do that, right? Because, so if it's actually any good, you no longer have to pay for Spotify or pay for Pandora, And so you start to go, oh, well, that's $15, $10-15 a month I don't have to spend. So that further justifies the price of Prime. So if you look at that, so theoretically.
So at the end of the day is all that they care about.
Well, and what's interesting, so let's say if you just lived within the Amazon streaming, you could quit Netflix, you could quit Pandora.
No, you couldn't quit Netflix. It would just make it easier.
Make it easier. You could theoretically, in that you would have an alternate.
There are exclusives that Netflix has that Amazon does not.
And the other way around.
Right, but more so the Netflix than Amazon, because Netflix is really working on just that.
I don't know. The stuff, more often than not, if I can't find it on Netflix, I can find it on Amazon, or I can't find it anywhere.
Well, it's because you have to pay for it on Amazon if you can't find it on Netflix.
No, in Prime streaming.
Oh, okay.
So, like, The Adventures of Johnny Quest, the New Adventures of Johnny Quest, for instance. I had a hankering to watch the New Adventures of Johnny Quest. Because mid-90s cartoons sometimes appeal to me, as having been a child in the mid-90s, or early 90s, rather. And so I wanted to watch some of that, and I couldn't find it on Netflix. And then I found it on Amazon streaming and watched like 6 episodes of The New Adventures of Johnny Quest. Just for instance. I'm not saying it's really common, but if you're looking for them, Amazon does have The New Adventures of Johnny Quest.
Oh, that is excellent to know.
On that note, we should probably get out of here. If you have any feedback for the show, podcast@textlastcall.com, facebook.com/textlastcall, pinterest.com/textlastcall, or @textlastcall on the Twitters. However you find us, you'll be seeing us on the interwebs.